Are you ready for this? We came to Jupiter for a simple family visit.
What we found instead changes everything. Trust me, this is not the Jupiter you're expecting. Space. Today we are heading for Jupiter. You can't miss it. It's the giant planet right after Mars.
Wow, Jerry, I can't believe you. You know it's Jupiter, Florida.
Well, this one's a lot easier to get to. We came to Jupiter to visit family, but figured why not turn it into an adventure instead of just a quick 2-hour drive from Melbourne.
So we landed at Phipps Park, right along the waterways, spacious RV sites, peaceful, and right on the edge of real Florida nature. Quick tip. Book the odd-numbered sites. These are way easier hookups because on the even-number sites, the hookups are on the wrong side. And if you plan ahead, grab a concrete waterfront site, definitely worth it. And a nice bonus! Florida seniors and qualifying residents can get discounted rates. But this place has a little secret. The ranger told us, this is where the alligators come to find love. Deep, rumbling calls echo across the water at night. We waited for the show. Yeah, apparently not feeling romantic on our trip.
Oh well, that's how it goes sometimes. But this spot isn't just about gators. It's right on the water at the lock and dam with boating, fishing, kayaking, and quiet trails and lake views that feel like real Florida. And we got this spot right next to the water, but this was just the start. Because next, I had a surprise planned for Mai, something she's been dreaming about for years. And trust me, she has no idea what's coming.
I can't believe it.
Want to try this adventure yourself? Just follow the Google Maps link in the timeline of this chapter in our description below to see the exact route we took.
Then come out and make some unforgettable memories of your own. After getting settled in, it was time to head out and explore what Jupiter is really known for.
The Great Red Spot?
No, silly. The Jupiter Lighthouse.
So how did Jupiter, Florida get such an unusual name?
Jupiter, Florida isn't named after the planet at all. The name comes from the Hope-Jobe Indian tribe along the Loxahatchee River. Spanish maps labeled the area Rio Job, but British settlers misread it as Jove, the Roman name for Jupiter. Over time, the name stuck, along with nearby Juno Beach, continuing the celestial theme.
Tucked behind the main building near the river, we discovered a beautiful piece of history. A large, white, 2-story house with a wide veranda and wheelchair-accessible ramp sat gracefully beneath mature oak trees draped in Spanish moss, surrounded by palms and mangroves. Everything you'd imagine in a classic coastal Florida setting. It was so stunning that before anything else, we felt drawn straight to the water.
Here at the Jupiter Inlet, the beauty is simply breathtaking. The water glows with shades of turquoise and deep blue, so vibrant it almost feels unreal, like stepping onto a Caribbean island right here in Florida. It honestly looked as if it had been photoshopped. Wildlife moved quietly around us, and boats drifted by, creating the kind of peaceful entertainment we love most. As we stood there taking it all in, we couldn't help but think, if only there were picnic tables here, this would have been one of our most memorable picnic spots.
Still soaking in the scenery, we made our way toward the lighthouse and museum, continuing to admire the historic building along the path. This structure was originally built as a World War II era barracks, though interestingly it was never actually used for that by the military. Today it serves as part of the museum complex, preserving the rich history of the area. And the best part? The admission prices are very reasonable, making it an easy and worthwhile stop for anyone visiting Jupiter.
Hello,
Hey, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
The museum
museum?
We decided to begin our experience inside the museum. Walking through the exhibits felt like stepping back in time, with each room revealing stories of early settlers, Native American heritage, lighthouse keepers, and the maritime history that shaped this coastline.
The council tree isn't just beautiful for visitors and special attractions, it's a living tribute, planted in 1935 where the keeper's home once stood, lost to fire but never forgotten.
Before climbing the 105 steps to the top of the lighthouse, you'll have to climb these 34 steps to get to the base first.
But who's counting?
I am.
In the lighthouse's early days, fuel arrived by boat along the Indian River. To reduce the risk of fire, it was stored safely in a separate oil house, built in 1860. Each evening, keepers filled small brass or tin pails with oil, typically weighing around 30 pounds, and began the demanding climb up 105 cast iron steps to the lantern room, ensuring the light would guide mariners through the night. The lamp evolved over time, transitioning from lard oil to kerosene in 1886 and finally to electricity in 1928, marking the end of an era of manual dedication.
Their work didn't end there. Keepers also hand-cranked heavy rotation weights every few hours and meticulously trimmed the wicks and cleaned the first-order Fresnel lens, keeping the beacon shining bright. More than a routine, this ritual was a testament to perseverance. Every step a promise that the light would never fade.
Now we are standing tall at 108 feet. This iconic red lighthouse has been guiding ships since 1860, and honestly, it might be one of the most beautiful in all of Florida. But what makes this place special isn't just the lighthouse itself, it's where it sits. Right here, where the Loxahatchee River meets the Atlantic Ocean. The water shifts between deep blues and tropical greens, boats drifting by, palm trees swaying. It almost doesn't feel like Florida. It feels like something out of the Caribbean.
And if you're up for it, you too can climb all 105 steps to the top. Yeah, you'll feel it a little, but once you get there, the view is absolutely worth it. 360 degrees of Jupiter, waterways, coastline, and miles of untouched beauty stretching in every direction. And standing up here, looking out over it all, you really start to understand why people love this place.
Across the turquoise waters of Jupiter, you may spot a vessel that carries more than just passengers. It carries history. This elegant yacht, known as the Honey Fitz, once served as the presidential yacht of the United States. Several presidents enjoyed time aboard, but it was John F. Kennedy who made it famous, using it as a floating retreat for relaxation and diplomacy. Named after JFK's grandfather, Boston Mayor John Francis Honey Fitz Fitzgerald, the yacht remains a timeless symbol of American heritage.
Seeing it here in Jupiter felt like watching a piece of history gracefully sail by.
As we begin our descent, each step feels lighter, just as it did for the lighthouse keepers of the past, whose return journey was nearly 30 pounds lighter after carrying oil to the lantern room.
Completed in 1860, the Jupiter Inlet Lighthouse became a vital guardian of Florida's coastline, guiding ships safely past the dangerous reefs and shoals along the Gulf Stream.
Designed by George Gordon Meade, later celebrated for his victory at Gettysburg, It remains the oldest standing structure in Palm Beach County. Through the Civil War and World War II, this steadfast beacon has witnessed history while continuing to protect those at sea.
Today, it stands not only as a navigational aid, but as a timeless symbol of resilience, guiding both mariners and the stories that connect us to the past.
Coffee! What a great way to start the day!
But today, we're heading somewhere rare. Blowing Rocks Preserve, a place unlike anywhere else in Florida. A rugged, rocky shoreline set against that crystal clear Caribbean blue water. Jupiter is known for...
But first, Mai had something else in mind, a place called U-Tiki. Tucked along the water, it looked like one of those perfect hidden gems, the kind you stumble across and never forget, only this time it was closed.
Still, we took a moment, soaked in the view, let the breeze roll in off the water. We even asked if we could settle in for a quiet little picnic, right there on those beautiful grounds. But no such luck. It all belonged to the restaurant. And with most places around here still closed, well, that's when the RV came through. Because when you travel like this, you're never really without a plan. Everything you need is right there with you. A rolling picnic table, a beach cabana, even your night stay, all in one. So we grabbed a few snacks and got back on the road.
Just the open road and maybe a perfect place to stop along the way.
Around here, there's no shortage of those. So we pulled into one of Jupiter's beach parks just to take a look. And the moment we stepped out, you could see it, that water, that color, that feeling. It's the kind of place that makes you stop for a second and just take it all in.
Now, Blowing Rocks was calling. Parking is limited, and for an RV like ours, almost non-existent.
And then, just like that, a spot opened up. We pulled in almost in disbelief, knowing we had caught it at exactly the perfect moment.
We are at Blowing Rocks Preserve, tucked along Jupiter Island, where Florida does something unexpected.
We began at the Quiet Visitor Center run by the Nature Conservancy, protecting places just like this all around the world. It's simple here. No crowds, no noise, just nature. A small donation, and the trail opens up.
And then, you start to see it. Not sand, not shells, but rock. Stretching along the shoreline, these jagged formations are the largest of their kind on the entire Atlantic coast. At first glance, they don't even feel like Florida. More like something pulled from Hawaii, dark, rugged, ancient. But these aren't volcanic, there's something even more rare, Anastasia limestone. Formed by shifting seas, rising tides, and time itself. And when the ocean comes alive, that's when this place earns its name. Waves crash into the rock, forcing water through hidden channels, until suddenly the earth erupts, geysers of seawater shooting as high as 50 feet into the air.
It's raw, unpredictable, and completely unforgettable. Because this isn't just a beach. It's a place where Florida breaks its own rules, and nature puts on a show you'll never see coming.
Of course, Mai had an idea. So we turned left, easing our RV onto Jupiter Island so she could see some of the most exclusive homes in the country. A place with fewer than 1,000 residents, yet known for something much bigger. Because this stretch of coastline, known as the Treasure Coast, has long been where some of the wealthiest people in the United States live. But that name doesn't come from wealth like this. It comes from something far older. Back in 1715, a Spanish fleet, heavy with gold and silver, was lost in a hurricane just offshore, and centuries later, pieces of that treasure would begin washing back onto these very beaches, giving this coast its name and its legend.
We were cruising along when, out of nowhere, everything stopped. The road ahead completely blocked, police lights in the distance, and just like that, we were being turned around. No warning, no explanation, just a sudden end to the road. So we turned back, found a quiet picnic spot, and that's when we saw it. The news right there on our phones. The reason the road had closed the moment we had just missed was the crash involving Tiger Woods. A place known for beauty, wealth, and centuries-old treasure, suddenly part of something no one could have expected. Wow, this looks like a perfect spot for a great picnic.
So, what do you think of our front porch?
Please subscribe. You'll be so glad you did. Thanks in advance.
Now we head towards Stuart. And this time, it's not just about the road, it's about the reason we took this journey in the first place.
Something a little more personal, a mini family reunion. One by one, everyone's been making their way here, gathering together in a spectacular vacation home set on its own island escape.
The ocean stretches out just beyond the doorstep, while right across the street, the river quietly flows, two worlds meeting in one unforgettable place. And for us, this stop isn't just another destination. It's where the adventure turns into something even more meaningful. But this adventure's just getting started. Next stop, Miami. Tap this video here.
And we'll see you there.